Hello, and welcome to the Vlogging Pod. Let's talk today about something most people never hear unless they're watching a courtroom drama or reading legal history, and that's habeas corpus. It's a Latin phrase and means you shall have the body. And while it might sound distant or academic, it's one of the most powerful protections we have in this country. Habeas corpus is the legal right that stops the government from throwing someone in jail and leaving them there without charges, without a trial, and without a chance to defend themselves. Now let's think about that. Without it, any administration could lock you away just for being inconvenient, a critic, or in the wrong place at the wrong time, and never have to explain why. No judge, no jury, no defense, just gone. This just isn't legal trivia. This is the core principle of freedom. The idea dates back centuries. In fact, it was written into law in England in the year of 1215 in a document called the Magna Carta. And when the U.S. Constitution was written, our founders carried it forward. They didn't just suggest it, they required it. It's part of Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution, and it says that habeas corpus shall not be suspended except in cases of rebellion or invasion where public safety may require it. That's a high bar, and it's supposed to be. You don't take away a person's right to challenge imprisonment unless the entire country is facing an immediate threat. But right now, that right is under a threat, not because we're in a civil war or being invaded, but because this administration is inching toward an authoritarian control through vague legal language, executive actions, and behind-the-scenes rule changes. Officials are making it easier to detain people, label them as threats, and sidestep judicial review. It may not look like a headline. It may not sound like a declaration, but the erosion is real. And once that right is gone, it's very hard to get it back. The administration wants control. They want tools that let them silence dissident, detain without due process, and punish without trial. Habeas corpus stands in their way. It forces them to show their evidence, to explain their actions in court. And when that becomes inconvenient, they find ways to bend, twist, or quietly remove those protections. This isn't theoretical. It's happening. In our immigration detentions are handled and how certain citizens and non-citizens are categorized in the expanding definitions of what courts as a threat to public safety. All of it points towards a future where freedom depends on how useful or how silent you are. Why does habeas corpus matter to you? Because it's the thread holding our entire system together. Without it, none of us are safe. It protects the guilty and the innocent alike because it forces the government to play by the rules. It stops fear becoming law, and it makes sure that no matter who's in power, they still have to answer to a court of law, not just their own opinion. In moments like this, when fear is used to justify power grabs, it's more important than ever to remember that rights like habeas corpus aren't abstract. They're the difference between freedom and control. Don't let this one slip by unnoticed, because once it's gone, we may not get it back. Resources for today's podcast come from sources of the habeas corpus like the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 9, the Magna Carta, which is a British Library Magna Carta overview, federal habeas corpus law, which I got from the Cornell Legal Information Institute, legal history precedents like from the National Constitutional Center, the habeas corpus, which came from the ACLU Brennan Center for Justice. You may look up the current context for the executive actions related to detention in public center, congress.gov, just security, legal think tanks of civil liberties like Cato Instis of the Habeas Corpus, Brennan Center for Justice, Law, Fair, Log. Thank you for listening. As always, until next time, bye-bye for now.